Welcome back to Winners and Losers, everybody. Of course, the show that looks at the highs and the lows from the transfer world during the off-season. The Dream Team's back together. Well, sort of. Patrick Van Straan is back in the hot seat. Pato, who is our first winner, big man?
It's Chelsea. They're annoyingly competent every transfer window, and it looks like they're signing Tiémoué Bakayoko and Alexandre. They've, of course, got their first signing of the summer. Willy Caballero is through the door on a free transfer, which it's pretty good business, right? They've got like 10 million for Begovic, they've got in Caballero, they've still got a decent backup keeper, and they've got 10 million quid in the bank. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Bakayoko. He looks like he's on the last chopper out of Monaco. It's an absolute exodus this summer. About £35 million we think the fee is, with Nemanja Matic potentially joining your beloved Red Devils for 40 mil. That'd be a great signing for United, I think, except for age, maybe. But we'll get onto that in a minute. Now, how do these two match up? Bakayoko is much less of a passer than Matic. He's much more of an all-action midfielder. But Baka had a very good pass success last season, about 87%, which is very similar to Matic. But he's more of a defensive workhorse. More tackles and interceptions per 90, 2.5 put together, compared to Matic's 1.7.
That's low.
Yeah, the problem is that Matic got a ton of assists. He got 7 assists, and Bakayoko just got 1. So how will the creativity fit in that midfield if they replace Bakayoko, if they replace Matic with Bakayoko? Is Fabregas going to come in? Are they going to play 3 men? Or will there be a shape change if Alexandre comes in and they go to 4 at the back? Who knows? Now, he's a big presence in the air, just like Matic, and he's 7 years younger. So you're basically replacing Matic with another very good player, 7 years younger, and you're getting a £5 million profit for it. Now, I think that's pretty good business.
I would probably agree with you, Pato. I think they are going to shift formation potentially to a 4-3-3 to cater to another signing. Alexandre looks like he's coming in for a massive £60 million from Juventus, making him the most expensive defender of all time. Chelsea are still in talks with the old lady, and PSG are also interested. However, Chelsea look like they're going to outbid the Parisians. They're also going to offer him about £100,000 a week, which isn't too bad. Does make you wonder, what does the future hold for Marcos Alonso? Does it mean he's going to become a bench option? Is he going to be pushed into a centre-back role? We know he can play there, as he did in Italy, because quite frankly, Alexandre is an upgrade at left-back. He makes more interceptions, higher tackles per 90, 1.9 to 1.5. He's also better going forward than Marcos Alonso, 1.8 key passes per 90 to Alonso's 0.6, and he's creating 2 chances per 90 compared to Marcos Alonso's 0.7. That is ridiculous figures for a left-back. 2 chances a game. I mean, if they do shift to a 4-3-3 and he goes to left-back, maybe Fabregas comes into midfield alongside Kante and Bakayoko, I think that's properly exciting if I was a Blues fan. But it seems like a lot of money. Chelsea paid £24 million for Marcos Alonso and are now paying £60 million for his left-back upgrade. Is it a good signing or is it a poor signing though? Let us know what you think in the poll above.
First losers of the week. I absolutely hate this rumour. Apparently RB Leipzig might lose Naby Keita to Liverpool, and this comes courtesy of The Express. Joe, tell me about it.
Yeah, RB Leipzig might be the losers from this, but Liverpool would be massive winners. This would be one of the transfers of the summer, if not the decade. I seriously think so. £70 million for the midfielder, and according to Gabriel Marcotti, of course, a writer for ESPN, a number of other places as well, wages and contract length have already been agreed, which concerns me, and it's now up to Liverpool and RB to thrash out a fee. They're not the only club interested. Arsenal, Man City, Southampton also want him, and he has said that he wants to join either Barcelona, Madrid or City in the past. Look, the guy can do everything on the football pitch. What a player. Scored 8 goals, 7 assists last season in just 31 league appearances. He won possession in the midfield third more than any other Bundesliga player, 180 times last season. Perfect for a counter-pressing system. He's done it at Salzburg, done it at Leipzig. He would be wicked under Jurgen Klopp. Please, God, don't let this happen. Pato, Yeah, dearie me, it's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible news.
I hate it so much. I really don't want this to happen, because if it happened, I do think that Liverpool would genuinely challenge for the title.
Oh.
I mean, what they need, they've got a huge attacking threat now. What they need is somebody to mop up in the midfield. And Naby Keita does that, but so much more. Now, we constantly talk about how this guy can do everything, but if you look at his numbers, genuinely, there's nothing he's bad at.
Yeah.
5 combined tackles and interceptions per 90. That's incredible. Like, he creates 1.5 chances per 90 from deep midfield. That's like Santi Cazorla numbers from deep midfield. That's
Sadio Mane
absolutely
numbers.
Outrageous. Basically the same as Sadio Mane, yeah. Dribbles, he can do that as well. Huge numbers of dribbles per 90. He was completing, I think he was the second highest at one point in the Bundesliga last season in dribbles completed, despite playing in the middle of the park where it's congested and difficult to get past people. It's absolutely nuts. If you parked him in there, then he's going to win the ball back and immediately set you off attacking. And that's what Liverpool need. The one thing that might stop this getting done, well, actually 2 things. Firstly, a bigger club might wake up and say, we're not going to let this happen. And secondly, he told Die Welt, which is a German paper, that he hopes to play for Barcelona, Real Madrid or Man City in 2 to 3 years, a really big club. Now, if he goes to Liverpool, that's obviously not going to happen. They would keep him more than 3 years, you have to think. But he's got a £48 million buyout clause, I believe, that's active from next summer. So if Liverpool do offer 70 mil, then RB Leipzig might be tempted to take the money and run right now. But what do you guys think? Is this one actually going to happen? Should he sit around and wait for Barca, Real Madrid? What do you reckon? Where's Naby Keita going? Let us know in the comments below.
Our next winner, Pato's a happy bunny. It's Arsenal, because Lacazette is on his way into the club, Pato.
Yeah, Lyon president Jean-Michel Aulas has confirmed this week that Lacazette's transfer will be done in the next couple of days, barring an unforeseen hitch. Now, the fee, which at one point was reported as high as 65 million euros, looks like actually it's going to be between 45 and 50 plus add-ons, which is not too bad. I mean, it's not totally crazy money. It's under 50 million pounds. I think that we'd be willing to take that. Now, the initial offer was 39 million pounds, so Lyon have bid Arsenal up, but I think they'd be happy to pay this sort of amount. And of course, Lacazette was set to join Atletico Madrid until their transfer ban was upheld. Now, Atleti's record with strikers, barring Jackson Martinez, has been pretty good over the last few years. So I think that Gunners should be happy to be getting this guy in. It would be Arsenal's most expensive signing ever, beating the signing of Mesut Ozil for £42.5 million by about 6 mil, I'd have thought. Now, the weird thing, though, is that Arsenal did try and sign the Frenchman last year, and they looked at him 2 years ago. Now, since then, obviously, he scored a lot more goals, but you do sort of wonder why they didn't push it through at 30 to 35 million rather than waiting until it was 50 million. But that is kind of the story of Arsene Wenger's life at the moment. But given that Alexandre Lacazette was saying that he would only leave for Champions League football, I think that you have to chalk this up as a win for the Gunners.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Lacazette is a goal-scoring machine. 28 goals in the league last season, being beaten by only Cavani, who got 35. However, Laka played less minutes. I mean, if you put their goals to minute ratios next to each other, Cavani's getting one every 85, Lacazette's getting one every 86. So very, very similar. And one big criticism labelled at him is that he is a penalty scorer. However, 10 of his goals last season might have come from the spot, but throughout his career of the 129 goals he's got for Lyon, just 23 have come from penalties. So he has still got 106 goals for the French side. I mean, in the past 3 seasons, he scored 20 plus goals every single time. 28, 21, 27. The last player to do that was Jean-Pierre Papin, who of course went on to win a Ballon d'Or in Ligue 1. So he's pretty impressive. I mean, in comparison to Alexis Sanchez, the Chilean does come out on top creatively, but he's one of the best creative players in world football. He completes 1.9 key passes to Lacazette's 1.6, and he creates 2.2 chances per 90 to Lacazette's 1.8. But like I said,
it's not bad.
Sanchez is one of the best creative players in the entire world. I think Lacazette would be one hell of a signing for Arsenal. I don't see what the criticism is. If you can keep him, if you can keep Sanchez and you can get hold of Lacazette, it's an unbelievable summer. I personally think that Olivier Giroud might well end up at Everton. Talks seem to be taking place there. Looks like Lukaku's on his way out of the club, so that'd be a good replacement for Everton, a great signing for Arsenal. I don't see any downside.
From the good to the bad, Arsenal are actually in our losers now. Joe, tell us why, but I think the people might know.
Yeah, obviously it's Alexis Sanchez. Somebody at the club tie that Chilean bastard down to the ground at the Emirates. Obviously, in his pre-match conference in the Confederations Cup, he cock-teased the press, didn't he? Just a bit of a dick tease. He said, oh, I'm going to reveal after the game where I'm going. And of course, he hasn't yet revealed. However, all indications point that he is going to leave the club. I just do not understand it. There is no way Arsenal can sell this player to Manchester City in particular, who are extremely interested. If he goes anywhere, they've got to get into Bayern Munich. Honestly, £50 million is pointless to Arsenal. They have to go and spend £50 million on an adequate replacement. So why let him leave? If he leaves next summer for free, then so be it. I cannot believe there's even talk of him going to Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. What a signing that would be for Pep. That would seriously make them title favourites, in my opinion. This is one of the best creative players on the planet. If they sell him to Bayern Munich, then fair play. However, there is still questions over whether or not Bayern wants him. Of course, Carlo Ancelotti talking him up, bigging him up as a player he very much likes. But the Douglas Costa move to Juventus looks like it's fallen through now. So if he stays, where does Alexis Sanchez fit in at Bayern Munich? Having said that, where does he fit in at Man City, Pat?
I have literally no idea. Like, we talk about Barcelona as having like the best front three in world football, but Man City might have the best front seven.
Yes.
They've got Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus, Sergio Aguero, Leroy Sané, Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva and Bernardo Silva, the entire Silva family. So if Sanchez were to move to City, you wonder what he'd do. Would he replace Aguero? Maybe he'd play as more of a false nine, which Pep Guardiola certainly liked. But Aguero is a better goal scorer. He got 33 goals last season, 106 minutes per goal. Sanchez was at 141 minutes per goal. But of course, like you say, he's a better creator. Two chances created per 90 to Aguero's 1. And while Aguero got 6 assists last season, Sanchez got 19.
That's madness.
So you do sort of understand it from that point of view. But on the other hand, Sanchez's numbers are going to look better. He's playing wherever he likes in that formation. He can play at the front, he can go on the left, he can go on the right, he can go behind the striker. He's allowed to do anything because Arsenal are rubbish and we just need Sanchez to carry us as much as possible. Now, I think that Arsenal should just let him run down his contract if it comes to it, because if he goes next season, he's 29. If somebody wants to pay him 300k a week, then they're perfectly welcome. He's been running around for an awful long time, and at some point, he might hit the wall like Wayne Rooney does. On the other hand, the fact he's getting no younger might mean that Arsenal say, well, let's cash in. Let's get 50, 60 mil now. We'll go out and we'll make Monaco an offer they can't refuse for Thomas Lemar. Or if City really want him, we'll say, well, we want Raheem Sterling or something like that. You know, there is a possible deal to be done, but frankly, when stars start jumping ship, people start to get worried, and I think Arsenal need to keep him. But where will he end up? There's a poll right up there. Bayern Munich, staying at Arsenal, Man City, dog sanctuary, don't care. Let us know.
He loves his dogs. Final winner of the day then, AC Milan making big moves, Pato.
They've had an absolutely outrageous transfer window. They've gone from being one of the most incompetent clubs in European football to being absolutely incredible in the market. They've already signed 6 players for about 100 million quid, which is not that much for 6 top-class additions.
It isn't.
I say that. 5 top-class additions, plus one other. See if you can spot the odd one out from here. Andre Silva, Matteo Musacchio, Ricardo Rodriguez, Franck Kessié, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and Fabio Borini.
What's he doing in there?
Fabio Borini. I can only assume that he's paying them. Now, AC Milan, of course, were bought out in April by a Chinese-led consortium. 740 million euros they paid, which makes it the largest investment by a Far Eastern company in European football so far. Pretty exciting stuff. Now, they actually undertook, when they signed the deal to buy the club, to spend 400 million euros over the following 2 seasons on the club. Now, we don't think that's just transfers, right? That's also going to cover stuff like club development. So, you know, you get a new manager in, you pay for him, you get new staff behind the scenes, you build a new training ground. That money can go quite quickly. But they are making big moves in the market, like you say, completely rejuvenated that team. They're buying young players here who are all going to get better. Andre Silva's 21, Franck Kessié, I believe, might still be 19. Ricardo Rodriguez is 23, 24. Matteo Musacchio is the oldest of them. I believe he's 27 now. But these are all guys who are going to get better or are just hitting their peak. And that is really, really exciting for the Rossoneri. Yeah,
it is. And that's not the only good news. It appears, on paper anyway, we all know that Mino Raiola is a bit of a dodgy bastard, that Gianluigi Donnarumma is doing a full U-turn and is going to sign a new contract with Milan. Of course, he has demanded over £160,000 a week at just 18 years old. And it seems that Milan have buckled under the pressure and are willing to accept those deals. Mino Raiola working his magic yet again. Of course, he did that crazy tweet last week, which I actually thought was hilarious. Probably pop that on screen just now. Of course, Donnarumma was in talks with Real Madrid. Man United also wanted him. Chelsea apparently wanted him. But he personally spoke to Dino Zoff and the great Gigi Buffon, who both told him to do what makes him happy. And it appears that what makes him happy is a bit of Bunsen burner. Because £160,000 a week is quite frankly insane for an 18-year-old. But I have to say, it's fabulous to see Milan returning to the glory days. Yeah. I mean, with these 6 signings, Donnarumma finally getting a contract, they could well finish 10 points behind Juventus this season.
Well, honestly, what a treat that would be.
They really could close the gap to that much.
Our next and final loser is perhaps the weirdest one we've ever had on this show. Porto are finally losing midfield prodigy Ruben Neves. But are they losing him to Barcelona? No. Is he going to AC Milan? No. Are they losing him to Chelsea? No. He's going to Wolves. He's going to Wolverhampton Wanderers. What the f*** is happening?
How on earth has this move been agreed? £17.5 million. It's cheap as chips. Let's face it, the only reason that Porto are doing this deal is because they're financially. They are literally getting chucked under the bus by UEFA's sanctions because they have breached financial fair play guidelines. But still, how's he ended up at Wolves? There are so many big teams that should be signing Ruben Neves. The guy is fantastic. The youngest captain in Champions League history, of course, aged just 18 back in 2015. He's played 92 times for Porto, scored just the 4 goals, so not many, but he is a deep lying playmaker. He's just 5'7", and I think you'll all agree that this could well be the craziest transfer of the 21st century. This stinks of George Mendes.
Yeah.
Absolutely pongs of him. Because, quite frankly, he should never be joining a club like Wolves. This is a potential career ruiner. Well, it really is.
But I mean, it does make sense once you bring the name George Mendes into it, right? Because, of course, he's also the agent of Nuno Espirito Santo, who is the manager of Wolves and was the manager of Porto at the beginning of last season when he actually benched Ruben Neves. But for £17.5 million, how is no club just thinking, we'll pay that. We'll just take him on. Why not? Who cares? Like, if you're a Liverpool or something and you're not sure you're going to get Naby Keita, why not just pick up this guy for nothing? Unbelievable. Let me go through some of his numbers with you. He's 20 years old. 20 years old, Jesus Christ. Now, I've got some comparisons here with N'Golo Kante, and while Neves is not the sort of dynamic player that Kante is, he does put up huge defensive figures. So Neves, 2.7 interceptions per 90, Kante 2.4. Tackles one, Neves 2.8, Kante 2.3. So he's going through a huge amount of defensive work. It's absolutely nuts. Key passes, he creates a chance a game from that deep position.
It's madness.
That's nuts. Wolves are going to sell him on at some point for a lot of money, you'd have to assume. My only worry would be, because he's a small guy, he's quite a delicate guy, you worry that in the Championship, he is just going to get battered out of games. But in that case, you know what will probably happen? Dortmund would pick him up for a pittance in a couple of years' time. He'll replace Julian Weigl and be a world beater. That's what's going to happen. Unbelievable business by Wolves / George Mendes. But, God almighty, Ruben Neves, I feel sorry for you, mate.
So that's all the winners and losers in the transfer market from this week. But have we missed anyone out? Let us know in the comments below. Pato, what should the people at home do next?
They should head over to Euro Football Daily and check out Stat Wars. Now, actually, I wasn't on it this week. I was in Greece and hoping I'd never have to come back. But John Babb stood in for me, taking on the might of Chris Hamill. It's an absolute corker, guys. Make sure you check it out.
Yes, thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Sayonara. Bye.